Have you ever felt a gentle stirring deep within, as though something unseen were trying to get your attention? Perhaps you found yourself lying awake at night, overwhelmed by a sudden sense of purpose, or a persistent feeling that there's more to life than the routines you've always known. If any of this resonates, you might be in the midst of a spiritual awakening. It's a process often described as soul-stirring and life-altering, like a flower unfurling its petals in slow motion, revealing layer upon layer of beauty you never realized was there. And if you felt this invisible shift, know that you're not alone. Many people are experiencing these same subtle signs right now. By the end of our time together, you'll recognize these signs in your own life and discover powerful ways to embrace and navigate them. A spiritual awakening isn't always as dramatic as a lightning bolt from the heavens. Often, it begins quietly, spurred by moments of introspection or prolonged periods of discomfort. Historical teachings, whether from Eastern philosophers or modern voices like Eckhart Tolle, emphasize that an awakening hinges on awareness of yourself, your patterns, and a deeper reality beyond everyday life. Carl Jung famously explored how individuation, the process of becoming our most authentic selves, can coincide with life crises or subtle personal revelations that shift our perspective. One sign you might notice first is a consistent sense of restlessness or longing, as though something is calling you from beyond your usual experience. Maybe you sense a new rhythm in your life, but can't put your finger on what's changed. That longing can be unsettling, but it can also be a profound indicator that your inner self is stirring, urging you to explore what lies beyond your comfort zone. While it's easy to think that awakening happens solely in the mind or spirit, the body often signals transformation just as clearly. You might notice persistent fatigue that doesn't improve with rest, or abrupt changes in your sleep pattern, waking up at odd hours, brimming with unexplainable energy, or lying awake, immersed in contemplative thoughts. Heightened sensory awareness can also show up. Perhaps colors look more vibrant, or you catch subtle scents you never noticed before. Research into the mind-body connection suggests that emotional upheaval or spiritual growth can correlate with shifts in hormones, like cortisol, hinting that when your inner world changes, your physical body follows suit. One relatable story comes from someone who discovered an unshakable exhaustion, coupled with vivid dreams that felt oddly meaningful. Doctors found nothing medically wrong, and it wasn't until she delved into deeper spiritual exploration that she recognized her body was mirroring her evolving state of mind. If you're grappling with similar experiences, it might be your body's way of nudging you to pay attention to a quieter, more profound transition unfolding within. An awakening can be just as evident in your emotional world. You might feel like you're on an emotional roller coaster, oscillating between confusion, fear of the unknown, and moments of pure, unfiltered joy. At times, you could feel lost, as though the comfortable framework of your life no longer fits up. Cognitive behavioral therapy teaches us that thoughts, feelings, and behaviors are deeply intertwined. So big internal shifts can trigger waves of anxiety or resistance. Yet these turbulent emotions aren't merely warning signs. They can be catalysts for breakthrough. Imagine it as a purifying storm, clearing the air, revealing a fresh path you never knew existed. If you find yourself overwhelmed, simple mindfulness practices, like taking a few slow, measured breaths or jotting down your feelings in a journal, can help. Journaling, in particular, offers a mirror to your internal state, making subtle patterns and insights more apparent. In the midst of strong emotions, a pen and a notepad can be invaluable allies, providing clarity where confusion once reigned. Another subtle but powerful indicator of spiritual awakening is feeling unexpectedly out of alignment with the world around you. Perhaps you notice yourself questioning beliefs you once held firmly, or you find your usual social circles and routines losing their appeal. This misalignment can be disorienting. You might wonder if you're losing touch with who you used to be. But in many spiritual traditions, this sense of disconnection from old patterns is a natural step in discovering your deeper essence. It can be both exhilarating and terrifying. Exhilarating because you sense an emerging truth about yourself, and terrifying because it may challenge what you've always assumed to be normal or necessary. Sometimes you'll wake in the middle of the night with a pressing question echoing in your mind. Who am I? Really? When that happens, it's an invitation to look within with compassion rather than judgment. In the midst of these shifts, a pivotal sign involves grappling with the tension between personal and spiritual reality. We're all shaped by society's expectations. Achieve this, buy that, look a certain way. Yet a part of us yearns for deeper meaning beyond conventional success. Existential psychology suggests that this tension can serve as fertile ground for growth. You might feel torn between the comfort of the familiar and the pull of a more expansive viewpoint. Some people encounter outright conflict when they try to blend their newly discovered spiritual pursuits into a busy work schedule, maintain relationships with friends who don't share these interests, or face skepticism from loved ones. Case studies on personal transformations illustrate that many individuals manage to integrate these different realities by setting boundaries, honoring their inner calling, and gently educating those around them about the changes taking place. This doesn't mean cutting ties or living as a recluse. Rather, it's about learning to honor the profound parts of yourself without sacrificing your genuine connection to society. One of the most transformative signs of awakening is an emerging desire for authenticity. When you start to see through the layers of social conditioning, you might realize how often you've worn different masks to fit various situations. Suddenly, wearing those masks feels suffocating, and you long to speak and act from a place of genuine expression. This can manifest in simple ways. Maybe you find it harder to laugh at jokes you don't find funny, or you can't stomach gossip as you once did. Embracing authenticity can be daunting. People around you may resist the change, preferring the old version of you. Yet, this is precisely where personal empowerment comes into play. The journey teaches that your voice matters, your truth matters, and living in alignment with that truth can be a powerful act of self-love and courage. Empowerment through co-creation is another profound aspect of spiritual awakening. You might sense that you're no longer a passive observer in your own life, but an active participant, an artist painting your life's canvas, stroke by deliberate stroke. Psychology tells us that adopting a sense of agency can boost resilience, helping us adapt more gracefully to life's changes. On a spiritual level, the idea of co-creation suggests that your thoughts, beliefs, and intentions help shape the reality you experience. This isn't about denying external challenges or refusing to acknowledge hardship. It's about realizing that you have a role in how you respond, and, in many cases, how events unfold. Starting your day with an affirmation, something as simple as, "I'm open to growth and grounded in peace," can set a transformative tone for everything that follows. If you're skeptical, try it for a week. You might be surprised at the subtle shift in your perspective when you position yourself as a co-creator rather than a bystander. Remember, there's a difference between being self-critical and being self-aware. One tears you down, while the other empowers you to build something new. As you navigate your emerging sense of agency, you'll likely bump into the importance of acceptance and stillness. Oddly enough, the process of becoming more active in co-creating your life also demands that you learn to pause and embrace what is. Even as you plan, manifest, and dream, moments of quiet reflection can bring clarity to your intentions. Ancient spiritual traditions emphasize that stillness is an incubator for wisdom. In that quiet space, whether through seated meditation, a mindful walk, or simply closing your eyes and taking several deep breaths, you can sense a subtle guidance that transcends the noise of daily life. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up on growth. It means acknowledging what's here and now before you shape what's next. Imagine a painting. You need to see the blank canvas clearly before adding the first brushstroke. Similarly, acceptance creates a state of inner readiness that allows genuine transformation to occur without forcing or rushing the process. Many people find that as their awakening deepens, they're drawn to contemplative or meditative practices. Perhaps you're curious about guided meditations, or you're establishing a habit of silent reflection each morning. Even a minute or two of focused breathing can anchor you during turbulent moments. The goal isn't to empty the mind completely. That's a common misconception, but to create a quiet backdrop against which important inner truths can emerge. Some describe it as meeting your own soul in the stillness, where the hustle of life recedes just enough for you to hear what your innermost self is saying. This can be an eye-opening experience. You might suddenly realize you're carrying resentment or fear you never acknowledged. Or you might discover an untapped reservoir of compassion and creativity that leaves you both humbled and exhilarated. There's another equally vital sign of awakening that often goes overlooked: a growing compassion toward others. Human, animal, even nature at large. You might find yourself more attuned to the suffering of people around you, feeling pulled to help, or at least to offer a kind word. Some speak of a deep reverence for life itself, sparked by recognizing the interconnectedness we share. This compassion isn't limited to grand gestures. It shows up in small acts, like being fully present when a friend needs to talk, or taking a quiet moment to appreciate a sunset you might otherwise have ignored. Philosophers and mystics, from Rumi to modern spiritual writers, have hinted that true enlightenment is always accompanied by a softening of the heart. So, if you find your empathy increasing, that too can be a gentle sign that you're on a path of awakening. Stillness and acceptance then dovetail into an expanded sense of personal responsibility. It might sound contradictory at first. How can we be both still and proactive? Yet, in many spiritual and psychological perspectives, these qualities harmonize beautifully. Acceptance acknowledges reality as it is, while responsibility acknowledges your power to respond to it consciously. This synergy can lead to profound changes in your day-to-day habits. Perhaps you decide to cut back on toxic media consumption, or to introduce a daily gratitude ritual. The key is to remain flexible and kind to yourself. Growth isn't linear, and there will be days when you feel stuck or even regress. But even setbacks can become part of the awakening, revealing old patterns that still need your understanding and compassion. In a culture filled with quick fixes and instant gratification, a spiritual awakening stands out as a journey that doesn't always have a tidy timeline or a set formula. It can be messy, cyclical, and at times confusing. One moment you might feel clear and illuminated, convinced you found your path, and the next you're plunged into doubt or sadness. The beauty lies in gradually learning to hold both the light and the dark with a loving curiosity. If you accept that tension as part of being human, you'll discover a resilience you never knew you had. Whenever you feel lost, try to remember that awakenings, by their very nature, unsettle the ground beneath us so we can grow deeper roots. In the midst of these changes, practical tools can offer immense support. Consider building a regular journaling practice, where you track your moods, dreams, and any synchronistic events that catch your attention. Some find it helpful to dedicate a page in their journal to affirmations or prayers, serving as a gentle reminder of their evolving beliefs and intentions. Others lean on structured guidance from therapies, like CBT, or from spiritual mentors who've walked a similar path. And in the modern age, communities, both in person and online, provide spaces to share experiences, ask questions, and feel less isolated. You may be surprised how many people are on a journey resembling yours, each reflecting another facet of our collective growth. Embracing the notion of co-creation can also deepen your relationships. When you realize you're shaping your inner world, you start to see how you influence the energy you bring into every conversation and encounter. A friend's negativity doesn't have to drag you down. Instead, you can hold space for that friend while staying anchored in compassion and understanding. Similarly, conflicts become opportunities to practice empathy and self-awareness rather than tests of loyalty or stamina. This doesn't mean you won't set boundaries. Sometimes the most loving response is to care for yourself by limiting harmful influences. But instead of seeing boundaries as walls, you can build them with understanding and empathy, preserving your well-being while acknowledging others' journeys. Another hallmark of an awakening is the recognition that old definitions of success or happiness may no longer fit. You might find less interest in purely material pursuits and a growing desire for experiences that feed the soul, learning, creativity, or service. This shift can be unsettling if your identity was tied to a particular career or lifestyle. Yet it can also open doors to new passions, relationships, or vocations you never would have explored otherwise. Sometimes just acknowledging that you're allowed to change your definition of fulfillment brings immense relief. Success might evolve from being the best in your field to offering genuine support to those around you. Happiness might expand from fleeting pleasures to a more enduring sense of inner peace and gratitude. These changes can be subtle, but over time, they reorient your entire life toward depth and meaning. In any awakening, acceptance and stillness stand as two vital cornerstones. Acceptance means lovingly acknowledging where you stand, your challenges, wounds, and doubts, without glossing over them or wishing them away. From that place of honest assessment, you can step into meaningful action. Stillness, on the other hand, is the gentle container that holds all your experiences without judgment. If you've ever let your mind settle for a moment, maybe while sipping tea or listening to birds outside, you might have felt a fleeting sense of clarity and peace. That small moment is the beginning of stillness, and it can be cultivated. Over time, pockets of stillness can expand into a consistent inner sanctuary, a refuge you can return to when the outside world feels chaotic. Once you've gathered some of these insights, it's natural to share or at least compare experiences. You might find comfort in discussing dreams, synchronicities, or revelations with close friends who understand. Engaging with community can be a wonderful way to reinforce your growth, as collective wisdom often illuminates perspectives you hadn't considered. Whether online or face-to-face, spaces where people share their personal journeys can spark breakthroughs and offer reassurance that you're not going through this alone. The act of storytelling, even if it's just a few lines in a comment section, validates what you're learning, while also inspiring others to explore their own awakenings. At this point, you might already be noticing how many of these signals overlap. A spiritual awakening isn't a checklist you can complete and move on from. Instead, it's a tapestry of interconnected experiences. Changes in your body, emotions, and worldview weave together into a new understanding of who you are and what it means to be alive. Rather than seeking neat conclusions, approach your awakening with openness. Each realization tends to spark fresh questions, leading you deeper into the mystery of existence. That's part of the beauty. This is a journey that evolves as you do. If you keep an open heart and mind, every day can reveal a new layer of insight, a deeper sense of purpose, or a flash of wonder at the interconnectedness of all things. In the spirit of connectedness, it's heartening to know that countless individuals across generations have walked this path before us. Ancient spiritual texts and modern psychological frameworks both underscore the universal nature of awakening. Rumi wrote of the heart's longing. Carl Jung explored the depths of the psyche. Indigenous wisdom traditions celebrate humankind's bond with the natural world. Each vantage point offers its own words and metaphors, but they all converge on the same core truth. The process of awakening is as natural and essential as growing up or learning a new language. It's a movement toward wholeness, unity, and an ever-expanding awareness of life's grandeur. If you're wondering how to take the next step, consider experimenting with a simple, reflective practice tonight. Set aside a few minutes to sit quietly. No phone, no television. Place your hand on your heart, close your eyes, and ask yourself how you genuinely feel in this moment. Notice whatever surfaces: fatigue, gratitude, tension, peace. Give each feeling room to exist without trying to fix or judge. This small act of self-compassion can become a ritual that not only grounds you, but also paves the way for deeper insights. In the morning, jot down any reflections or dreams that linger. Over time, such routines can transform into a sacred pause in your everyday schedule, gently guiding you toward lasting inner transformation. Remember that a significant part of this journey is sharing and learning together. If you've recognized any of these signs, be it physical, emotional, or a new perception of reality. Feel free to share your experiences with others who are on similar paths. Perhaps you'll drop a comment below or mention a relatable anecdote so that someone else can see a reflection of their own story. In doing so, you add a stitch to the collective tapestry of awakening, reminding everyone that this is both a deeply personal voyage and a shared human experience. If you haven't already, you might also find it helpful to subscribe or follow along for more insights that can support your growth, because every little piece of wisdom can become a stepping stone on your path. No matter where you find yourself right now, whether you're filled with excitement at these new possibilities or grappling with confusion, acknowledge that every step is part of the process. Each sign you notice, each moment of clarity or doubt, each conversation that sparks a fresh perspective, contributes to a greater unfolding. You are on a path toward deeper understanding and connection, and the very fact that you're curious enough to listen to these words suggests you're already well on your way. May you continue to meet each day, each breath, with open-minded wonder, and may your awakening serve as a reminder that, beneath the everyday hustle, there is a deeper pulse, one that resonates with the essence of who you truly are. Thank you for accompanying me on this exploration. The signs you've noticed or will notice are all invitations to deepen your awareness and trust in yourself. In a world that can sometimes feel fragmented, your willingness to evolve and reflect is a gift to both yourself and those around you. The more we awaken, the more we inspire others to uncover their own potential and truth. So, take heart, embrace the journey, and step forward with the knowledge that you're not alone. This is a shared adventure in personal and collective growth, one that can illuminate a path of compassion, authenticity, and profound spiritual insight for all who dare to wander beyond the familiar.